Congratulations, you reached that huge milestone. You graduated college. But what now? You're probably going to go and get that new career, that new job. Awesome. But what after that? What's next? What do we do? What do we plan for? That's why we decided to put together these 5 tips for new grads.
He didn't say anything about them being financial tips. They'll get the idea.
Stop wasting money on that dumb shit and instead put it in investment. I know it's tempting. You'll spend it and be broke again.
What's going on, YouTube? I'm your bro Taylor.
And I'm also your bro Taylor.
Okay. He's Ryan, by the way. But today, like Ryan said, we're going to give you 5 financial tips that, a lot of people just aren't really that aware of. You get a little taste of freedom at college for sure, but now you got bills to pay. You got a lot of things to worry about. That first job, they start asking you, what insurance you want? Oh, insurance. My dad handles that, So we're going to dive into some great tips that, we just think that everyone should know at this stage. Starting with number 1, going to be a basic one here. Not the most advanced, but understanding your spending habits and creating a budget is the foundation of finance. If you want to be successful and you want to actually save and be able to achieve your financial goals or any level of financial freedom, this is completely necessary. You should be tracking your common spending trends, dividing things up into what needs, wants, so that you get an idea of where your money's going. This can be really easy if you use some apps and spreadsheets that automate it for you. We use those personally, so that's a great way to go and take some of the stress out of it.
Yeah, and coming out of college, you might not know exactly what you spend most of your money on, or you might say, I was eating ramen noodles and basically garbage because I just wanted to be a cheap college student, but now I have more money, I'm going to spend like I have more money. 1, we want to caution you on that.
Yeah.
But 2, I would still go through and create a temporary what you think the budget will look like, what you think you'll spend on clothes, what you think you'll spend on gas with the new job, and go through that whole process. And if you're wrong, guess what? You can just tweak it the next month. Yeah. But at least you have a starting place. So that's going to be the biggest advantage you're going to have over everybody else. If you're coming out of college, you go ahead and start that foundation and you don't wait till you're in a hole. Now, what do I do? Now, how do I get out of this? Now, how do I budget? You will help yourself so much, and it'll be so much less work now than if you do it later on. And number 2 is going to be managing those student loans and that debt. Now that you've graduated, you have to start paying back those loans, and some of them can get pretty pricey. Those monthly payments can be pretty insane depending on where you got the loans, what kind of loans they are. But we're going to start putting them together, seeing all the different loans you have, if you have multiple, obviously, and start paying down that debt. The average student loan debt for new graduates hovers right around that $40,000 mark. And then when talking about the comparison to different types of loans, comparing the federal to a private loan, so private loans are going to be more expensive typically with the interest rate, and refinancing once you graduated and bring that monthly payment down by bringing down that interest rate. That can be huge. Saving 2 to 3 percentage points is a pretty big deal. You also want to set up automatic payments to avoid late fees and also to help you maintain a healthy credit score. Because if you miss one payment, that's a big deal.
Oof.
And without stretching yourself too thin, if you do have extra money left over, even if it's only $50, putting it towards that debt can help a lot. It can reduce your overall interest you pay on the loan and can help you pay it off much faster. Again, this is where budgeting comes in because you know how much you made that month and you're going to give every dollar a job. We have plenty of videos on this. Please go check them out on our channel. But you're going to know exactly how much you made. So you know, oh, I spent this much. That means I have $150 left. Instead of just going, oh, let's buy this. Let's go out more. You can put that towards your debt, get it off your hands. And now you have that degree free and clear.
And rolling right into the next one is another somewhat fundamental basic one, but creating an emergency fund. So many people don't. The vast majority, about 60% of Americans don't have a month's expenses saved. So when something tragic hits, you pop a tire or pipe bursts. A lot of people, it leads to financial ruin and credit card debt and everything like that. So creating an emergency fund is a very important step. In your initial budgeting, you should strive to start saving. Now, the goal is to have about 3 to 6 months expenses saved, but as a good first mark to hit is just saving $1,000. Now, this isn't something that, now that I have $1,000, let's go out and spend it. No, this is something that you set aside in another savings account or somewhere that's very liquid that you can access. Not something you invest, because at that point, you're going to have to sell it and wait for that return to come back and everything. So liquid assets, you want at least $1,000 to start, then work more towards that 3 to 6 months expenses, because things do happen, guys. It's just the reality. If you decide to buy a house, goodness gracious, there are so many expenses that come along with that. If you decide to get a dog, you spent a good bit of money on dogs within the last 6 months.
More than I spent on my car, by far. And just to put it in a chronological type order, you're going to want to set up your student loan debt payments, your automatic payments, then save that $1,000 at the same time as you possibly can. Once you save the $1,000, stop saving on that and then put the extra towards the debt until that's gone. There's no more debt, and then continue the emergency fund. Just so you know the steps you need to take to build those two, or pay one down and build one up. Moving on to our fourth tip is going to be to leverage those employee benefits and start investing in your retirement. That's such a big deal. I know you've just graduated college. You're really not thinking much about retirement already. So I just want to harp on the fact that it is important to start early. The earlier you start, the less work it is, and the more you can just let compound interest take and run with your money once it's invested.
Yeah, I mean, this is something that you just opt into at the very beginning during your onboarding process. And once you opt into it, it's automatically taken out of your paycheck. So it's not something that you have to worry about, like, oh, I got to remember to invest into my 401k. A company 401k match is a huge asset to you. A lot of these companies are giving you a match, which a lot of them are either offering like a 3 or 6% match. It's averaging around 4.6, but this is essentially free money.
Yeah.
Let's say that you contribute $100 a month to your 401k. They'll also contribute $100 a month to your 401k. Boom, $200 a month every month for, say, a couple years. You'd be amazed how much that's grown, because again, the power of compounding. So that's a huge benefit that you should definitely look into. On the flip side, let's say your employer doesn't offer this, or you've just exceeded the company match and you want to look for other ways you can kind of invest. Well, there are individual retirement accounts, oftentimes referred to as IRAs. The general rule is that people usually early starting out would go with a Roth IRA. That's what we personally went with. But again, your personal circumstance can be very unique and everything. Talk to a professional. This is just general advice that we're giving, not specific to you. So look into that. Again, that's a great way to set yourself up for success in the future. But back on the flip side of those company benefits, there are so many. I mean, just health insurance, an individual health insurance account just by yourself is crazy expensive. So a lot of these companies offer some form of health insurance where either the premium is lower or maybe they cover the premium on some high deductible plans. So that's just something that you should definitely try and take advantage of. Because again, kind of like with the emergency fund, things just pop up, guys. And it's an unfortunate reality that we live in, but it's a great asset to have. And there are things like a high deductible plan with an HSA being a health savings account, which again, I'll not dive into, but is a good thing that you should look into. We have videos about that, by the way. But eventually that can turn into another retirement account. So there's just so many benefits.
Some of them offer financial benefits like a CPA. Some of them offer legal benefits like getting a will done and other things like that. They'll pay for part of your car payment as long as that car meets certain specifications. Some of them will pay for your student loan payment.
Yeah.
Student loan payment is $150. They'll directly pay you to your account and pay that account. So it's really cool, all the benefits that these different employers offer, especially towards future education. If you go back to school, most of them offer reimbursement for that. Again, you just have to dive in, really pay attention during onboarding. It's only usually a few days to a week, so it's really not that big a deal. And ask questions if you don't understand to your employer or to us the best we can, but preferably your employer. They're going to have the more in-depth details on those things. But moving on to our fifth and final is going to be maintaining a healthy credit score. Super important. I know it seems like whatever, not that big a deal, but it bleeds into just about every aspect of your life. There are personal loans, vacation loans, car loans, mortgages.
1 week later.
Credit cards. All of them need a credit score. And honestly, employers, a lot of times I've heard, check credit scores. And so that's interesting, like the full background check. They do that. If you're going to get rent, they check your credit score.
Yeah, I mean, things we've already touched on where you're refinancing your student loans. You get better rates when you have a good credit score. So you're like, well, I don't really want to get into any of that. I don't think I ever really want to own a home. It just bleeds into so many things. It affects your car payment and everything, what car rates you'll get. So it just affects anytime you're trying to take out any form of a loan, the credit score matters. Now, it's very hard to build back a credit score once you've lost it. It's very easy to damage your credit score. I mean, you miss one payment, your score will drop by 50, sometimes more points. Even if you pay that back a couple days later, you're like, oh, I was only a couple days late. Your score will go back up a little bit, but you're going to have to work for a while to make it back to what it was. So you have to stay on top of these things. We have plenty of videos on credit cards, credit scores, and everything. But really, number one tip, just pay it off and you don't have to worry about any of those others.
And as you can see, most of these tips are just quick, surface level tips that just explain, like, remember this concept, or you should start here. We have tons of videos, like we said, on all of these things in further detail. If you have any questions, please let us know in the comments. If you want to know more details, that we don't specifically cover in another video, please let us know in the comments. We look forward to those comments and that feedback. And as always, please like this video. Please share it with a friend. You and all your friends that are new grads, they could probably use this information.
Yeah.
So we'd love for you guys to take advantage of it. We really hope you guys learned something from this. Please, please don't forget to stay tuned for our next week's video.
Stop wasting money on that dumb shit and instead put it in investment. I know it's tempting. You'll spend it and be broke again.